Hi Joshua, this is Jim Gillis of Win My Vote, and sorry I don't have my camera on, but I'm not in the office and the background's not set up for it. But I wanted to give you a quick little demo of our site and then talk with you about a couple of ideas in partnering. So I figured I'd start here at the National Student Parent Mock Election. This is where we built and launched Win My Vote, and we did this in late October of 2016. The National Student Parent Mock Election is about 5 million teachers and students throughout the country. We had 113,000 online, so we did the online version where the students would go up, they'd click on a link here that would take them to the online version of the mock election, and this is what they would see. They would see their ballot like this. They would be able to look at all of the candidate profiles. They could click on it. They could watch videos. They could, drill down and see some more information. They could visit the candidate's Facebook page or Twitter account. They could scroll down here and see issue statements that the candidate has built. They could also scroll through here and see the different people, groups, organizations that have endorsed this candidate. They could click on See All, and let's say if they wanted to watch the video endorsement, they could just click on the person's name.
Leadership is not yelling and screaming and intimidating, right? Yeah, she knows. And she knows, what we call a person like that?
And they could, scroll through all of them. And this is just a mocked up version, so you can imagine there's plenty more on the real version. And then with that, they would go, they could favorite this candidate if they've already decided, or they could just go back to the ballot, and move to the next candidate and so on. And one of the things that we found with the mock election was that the kids gave each one of the candidates about the same amount of time. And a lot of them were clicking on Evan McMullin because they had kind of heard about him. No one had heard about Zoltan. But they knew a little bit about Gary Johnson and a little bit about Jill Stein. But it was great because they all, they clicked on all the profiles, they watched the videos, they talked, they discussed, and then they picked their favorites. And then with that, we learned that these guys were probably more informed and made a better choice than about 95% of the American public, because they had seen 5 and 6 and 7 different candidates. They had heard the different issues. They watched video, debate videos, etc. So that's what kind of made us think, hey, we're on to something here. Not to mention all of the teachers, wanted to use this for their own, the real election, and we kept it up, and then we added some races, down ballot that the mock election wasn't doing, and we kind of had a second beta with a lot of the teachers and parents and some students that still wanted to do stuff. So the site is it's sort of hard to describe, but we've been kind of throwing around different names, and the one that's kind of sticking the most is a universal voter guide, where the candidates build their own profiles, groups and organizations that we call trusted sources. They build their own, sorry about that. They build their own profile page like this, where they can talk a little bit about their politics, and then they can make endorsements, and they can make endorsements real simply by clicking on the candidate's star, and then they can do a written or a video endorsement, or they can go down here and they can choose a state, and if they wanted to say endorse Gavin Newsom, they would start typing in Gavin Newsom. They would click on his profile since they've already endorsed him, so we'll do that again. They would endorse him, and then they can do a written or a video endorsement, and they just use the YouTube share URL. They do a cut and paste there, or they would just put the information in there and then just hit publish the endorsement, and those are the endorsements that you saw next to the candidate's profile. So I'll give you another example of that. So here's Gary Johnson's profile, and as you can see here, Jesse Ventura endorsed Gary Johnson, so I can click straight through and watch that.
Congratulations on the book. A lot to delve into, and we'll get to the book in just a moment.
Sure.
But I want to ask you, about what happened this morning with Gary Johnson. What was your reaction?
Much ado about nothing.
In what sense?
Well, the reason is Gary Johnson supports full withdrawal from the war. I agree with him. So once you've withdrawn from the Middle East, who's going to care about that city anymore?
But if
None
it's
of us.
at the epicenter, at the heart of the conflict and what's going on in Syria.
And we're wrong to be there in the first place. The Iraq War.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to let that run as long as it. But you can also just click through and watch, and see the group here and watch the endorsements from here, and you would see all the other endorsements that this group or organization or individual, in this case, has made. So now that I'm back at my ballot, maybe I want to favorite Gary Johnson, and I can see that his nameplate turns green. He moves to the first position, which makes it easy for me to see with a tablet or my cell phone. And I'm sort of done with that race, and then I can move on to the next race. I can also, comment on the race. I can watch the debate. I can share, Gary's profile with friends if I wanted to, and really engage in doing a little bit of, campaigning for him. And again, it's very easy. It's not like me saying, "Hey, go to Gary Johnson's Facebook page and see what you think and do all this." It's really saying, "Hey, sign up for Win My Vote." You'll see all the candidates and all the races. You'll get your complete ballot. If you have questions on any candidate or any race, or how to find your polling place, it has all of these features here that you need to vote. And again, all of the propositions and the measures. And I know someone who was really into one particular measure in the state of California. And so I said, yeah, that's great. Go there and click on the proposition. You'll be able to read the original language of the proposition, and you can scroll down and it's all there. You can watch a little 1-minute explainer video that's neutral.
Prop 55 in 1 minute, taxes for education.
This is supposed to start as undecided. Sorry about that. And then you can also see groups and organizations and individuals that are supporting this proposition and that are, opposing the proposition. And again, you can click through and listen to them.
When does temporary mean temporary? Well, it doesn't here in California when it comes to money and taxes. We passed District Board of Education. All other states have 2, state level, district level. I say absolutely no. By the way, I have kids in public schools in California. I want the best public schools. I still say no on Prop 55.
Yep, and then with that, if you can, say no, or you can change it to yes, either way. And then when you go back to your ballot, you can see Prop 55 here is now turned green. And then you can also see these percentages of favorites here, where there's 13 that are saying yes, there's 7% that are saying no, and there's still 80% of the voters on Win My Vote that have yet to select yes or no, which is great information for both sides to sort of understand that this proposition is very much still in play. So would love to talk with you about a partnership, because I think that this is exactly what a movement like the Centrist Project needs. This is not a site where somebody has to spend all day on. We're not going to try to compete with Facebook or Twitter or anything else. This is really for the person that's too busy to get in politics, is not going to spend a lot of time, is not going to send in lots of donations or anything like that. Is just working, and when the election comes around, they give it a day or two, and now everything's in front of them, so they'll be able to quickly see all the different candidates. I'll give you a quick example of the new site. This is kind of the beta site, what we used for the National Student Parent Mock Election. But we have a new interface, and I'll show you kind of how it would look to the voter, and why I think it's really important for groups and organizations like yourself to be on it. So this is just a mock-up, it's a PowerPoint wiring app. But the way it would look would be like this, so that I could quickly, see that there's a Centrist Project candidate on this ballot, and I could, click on the profile. I could see the endorsement, so I can scroll through here and see the different groups and organizations and individuals. Oops, sorry about that. And then I can also, click down here and see the About Me. And again, I think this is getting cut off. But anyway, you can go sort of issue by issue and sort of scroll through the candidate, and you can go down to endorsements, and say if you follow Sarah Silverman, you can click on her and, you know, go through a couple more and then go back, you know, up to this page. Now you can share this profile on any social media, so again, you can do a little bit of campaigning for the candidate, and then you can also favorite the candidate. When you do that, when you go back to your ballot, you'll now see that it's nice, you know, in the green prominent with the green star, and you can move on to the next race. We really look at this as the level playing field when it comes to politics and political elections. So we'd love to talk with you about some ideas. We're still early on in the startup phase. We're looking for funding, and we're also looking for partners that, you know, that could use this and sort of help spread the word. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.